Well, hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Alicia. This is the Fanciful Flamingo floss tube channel. So if you like cross stitch, sometimes quilting, a little bit of life, I hope you stick around and stay with me and chit chat a little bit today. Welcome to all my returning subscribers. I have been so blessed to have new subscribers. So if you watched me once and you came back, well, what the heck were you thinking? Anyway, we'll get right to the floss tube in just a minute. So if this is your first time, let me just tell you that I start all of my floss tubes with a moment of prayer or kind thoughts and praise. If prayer is not your thing, that's okay. You can always wish somebody a blessing or a kind thought. That never hurts. This country just keeps getting ravaged by Mother Nature. She is angry. I want to take a moment to ask for prayers and kind thoughts for everyone affected by the fires in California. I know that there's been a lot of coverage about the celebrities that have lost their homes. And they are people too. And they lost all their worldly possessions and all of their memories and all of their mementos. But it's not just stars that lost their home. I have my best friend for 30 years. I know, take a moment, recover from the shock. I know I only look like I'm in my 20s. I get it. But no, jokes aside, my very best friend and her family lost their home of 27 years. My best friend and I got married 6 weeks apart. We had our first child probably 6 months apart. She was the first one to buy a home out of our group of friends that got married. She's the only one that was still in that home. We've moved around, we've moved states. My parents are gone. I grew up in Georgia. I say all of this to say that her home has always been a safe landing place for me and my family. We have beautiful, wonderful memories there. And they lost their home this past weekend. It was a firebox fire. It seems that they had lit a fire because it was extremely cold in North Georgia this past weekend. And it looks like a spark somehow managed to make its way out of the firebox into their attic, so it burned from the attic down. She had just stored all of her Christmas stuff. Her grandmother had passed away a few years ago, and she had a lot of keepsakes from her grandmother stored in the attic. They haven't gotten back in the house yet. I told her I would fly up and just sit and hold her hand as she started to sift through it all. But that one hits really close to home, so I'm asking for prayers for her and her family. Thankfully, her kids are out of the house now. They're grown. It was her husband, and the dog, and they managed to get out safely. And that's praise. That is praise too. No one was seriously hurt in the fire. I did talk to her yesterday, and she's doing as well as can be. So praise again that no one was hurt in that fire. If you would like to ask for some prayers or kind thoughts or share a moment of praise, please email me anytime at shop@fancifulflamingo.com. I have another friend that reached out and asked for prayers this week. She's going for a colonoscopy. A lot of us are in that age bracket. And anytime you go in for testing, it is nerve-wracking until you get an all clear result. And if you've had testing done lately and did not get an all clear, I've been there. We are praying and we are with you. So with all of that, I'll be right back in a minute to share what I've been working on. I'm going to take some creative liberties on my floss tube, and I'm going to move things around a little bit. I am going to start this segment announcing the winners of my gifts that I mentioned in my last episode. I will also I made a cute little graphic in Canva with the list of the people that had won that I will add at the end of this little segment, but no promises. We all know how Alicia is with technology. So let's start with Everyday Things by Heart and Hand. And the recipient of this gift is House Museum Stitcher. House Museum Stitcher, if you will send your mailing address to shop@fancifulflamingo.com, I will get this out in the mail to you. Prairie Schooler Santa 1995 Prairie Schooler Santa 1995 goes to Sarah Lucio 8750. Sarah Lucio 8750, you won, or you will be getting PS 1995. PS 1994 goes to Bernie Wood 6286. Bernie Wood 6286. Send me your physical mailing address and I will get that out to you. Prairie Schooler Santa 2016, which was one of my finishes for this year, my fully finishes, goes to P Happy 2451. PHAPY 2451. And last but not least, Prairie Schooler 2018. This snowman was no joke. Goes to RENEEDY, Renedy 84. PS 2018 goes to Renedy 84. And again, if all of you will send me your mailing addresses to shop@fancifulflamingo.com, I will get these out to you. Please do not send me a DM on social media. I very, very rarely read them. Do not send it in a post on the Fanciful Flamingo group or the Stitch Florida group, because that's not where I look for this stuff. So please shop at fancifulflamingo.com, because I really want you to have this stuff. All right, I didn't think I had an FFO, but I remembered that I picked this up Monday. This is Jane McD, 1826, I think. Jane McD, 1826. This is a design from Little Robin Designs. And she actually featured this on her social media as a great New Year's blessing sampler to do. I had finished this up last year and just took it to get framed and just got it back. So that is Jane McD, 1826. And you may see her a little bit later behind me in my chair. As a lot of you know, I did a signature sampler box with my bestie, Annie the Proper Stitcher. They are still available. It doesn't have to be a blessing sampler because it is a gorgeous sampler whenever you do it. But it is English Rose Sampler. And this is a reimagined antique sampler that Annie did. The kit comes with either 18 count Ada or 36 count Linen Mellowstone by Atomic Ranch. You get all of the spools of Vicki Clayton silks to go with it, and a lot more goodies, because you just can't have fabric and floss. Come on now. And I finished mine. I finished mine on the 13th. So this will be my blessing sampler for this year. And I'm going, full disclosure, I can't tell if it's focusing or not because I have an eye infection. Now, I took some artistic freedom with this. Annie very thoughtfully includes a full alphabet. So the sampler has for your initial right here in the top corner. Yeah, it all looks blurry to me. So my initial also happens to be A. I know that you wouldn't be surprised because the blonde is real, even though it's hidden now, that I would stitch an A. But I put the A for me, and then I wanted to include my family's initials around the rows. So I did the E for Emily in a green because that's her favorite color. I did the G for Gavin in blue. And I did the V for Vince. This is hard to do. I don't know how Vanna White does it. And then I did put in the 2025. Now, some of y'all have like eagle eyes because I get people write me all the time that I've messed up on something. And if you know me, I have never stitched a thing perfectly, okay? Not my goal. So, I noticed this as I was stitching. Try to hold it up. Y'all, I am so sorry. I'm trying to work with these. Kari Tiger Lily, you made these boards look so easy, and I had them in my stash. They're not. So, see this little arm right here? See how this one goes in? Well, that one should have too. But I don't know what I was looking at or thinking, and I caught it, and I could have unstitched it. And yes, my blessing sampler that's supposed to bless my needle has an error in it. But the more I looked at it, the more I thought, you know, how many reproductions do we stitch that the little girls just carry their name over to the next line because they ran out of room or squished up alphabets? That was just part of it. That's part of the history. And we will reproduce mistakes, but chide ourselves when we make mistakes. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm here. I'm going to start a club. Mistakes are our friends. If anybody's ever watched, I think it's Finding Nemo, where the sharks are trying to give up eating fish, and they're like, fish are friends. Yes, mistakes are friends, and it is okay. No one ever comes into my home and looks at the samplers and points out mistakes. My family doesn't even look at the samplers. When I find a sampler out in the wild, I'm just at awe at the person stitching. I don't look for mistakes. The Smithsonian is not going to put this up and display it. The Daughters of the American Revolution Museum in Washington, D.C. are never going to get their hands on this sampler. This sampler, if I'm lucky, will go to Goodwill. If I'm lucky. So I'm okay with it. And I chuckle because it's me. There's nothing more me than having a mistake like that. So I'm leaving it. But if you'd like more information on the signature sampler box, and if you'd like to stitch one of these for yourself, I'll put information at the end. And I'm also going to include some pictures of other of my friends that have stitched this, like my friend Susie, and have so sweetly posted it on social media. This is the hashtag English Rose SS Sal. Hashtag English Rose SS Sal. So if you are stitching this, I would love if you would tag that or put that hashtag on social media. So that is one of my finishes for the month of January. I decided that Sundays this year, at least for now, are going to be Sunday smalls. Little things, little pillows, usually probably seasonal, that I can stitch up in a day and finish up and have it for the seasons. Now, I worked on Jingle All the Way by Crafty Blue Bonnet right before Christmas, and I didn't get to finish it. And I was like, you know what? And I asked y'all last time. I showed this last time, and I had a question. I could have left it till next year, but I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and finish it, and I am going to fully finish it. So this is Jingle All the Way. I have not ironed it yet. I asked y'all if I should put in the ecru color in this little banner. A lot of you said no, but I know myself, and when I question and I go back and forth, that means I'm probably going to do it. So I did, and it didn't take much time. I'm going to finish this into like a jelly roll pillow for next year. So there you go. So that's a fully finished, that's a finish. Hello. That I did this year, or finished this year. I have some Valentine's pillows, not a ton. I mean, I think I speak to the majority that we stitch a lot at Christmas, we stitch a lot at fall. If we are seasonal stitchers, we probably have quite a bit of patriotic, maybe you have some Easter. Not a ton of Valentine's. I do have some, because when I came back to stitching, I stitched smalls and I stitched seasonal. So I say all that to say that I had this PDF from Primrose Cottage in my box, and I pulled it out, and seriously, Kari, I don't know how you do it. So this is the full pattern. This is part of their Wishes and Kisses series. So such a cute series. But I didn't want a long pillow, and I didn't want to put anything else on a board. I have a couple things on a board. I'm just going to show it like this. So I just did Hugs and Kisses, and I reimagined it a little bit. This little box had X and O, and I just hand drew on a piece of graph paper the sign and made it fit in the box. And I used coloring cotton. And I have the colors that I used, and I did. I used bits and pieces, but I used pin cushion. I don't think I used candy hearts in the end. Or Naughty List. I used blush. And these both had, they're very similar, but they had some good variegation. I used Golden Gate. I used Winterberry, which I've used on so much stuff this year. And I used Champagne. I'm more of a neutral kind of prim stitcher. I know that surprises y'all. So I wanted it to reflect that. And it looks great on their blue, but I have learned that if I because my pillows all sit in a dough bowl together, I like them to coordinate. So I did that 2 Sundays ago. And then my L&S, the Cross Stitch Cupboard, always has a thoughtful freebie when you go to checkout. And that's one of the great things about an L&S, if you're fortunate enough to have one, is that you get little treats like that. So they had this, and I'm sorry I can't show it to you, but it was just the chart. It was a black and white copy of the chart. And from the wording or the name on the chart, it seemed like it was supposed to be like a little baby alphabet. But I did the outline in the Winterberry, and I did the letters all in pincushion, because pincushion is so variegated that I knew that the letters would pick up that variegation. And I did this past Sunday in like 2 hours. And so I'm just going to finish those into little pillows and put them in my dough bowl. So those are my finishes. 3, 4 for January. Not too shabby. I'll take it. I'll take it. And so what else am I working on? Well, I have starts that have become whips. I am doing the Anniversaries of the Heart 2025 Sal that Kari Tiger Lily and Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher are both co-hosting. I've seen a lot of people working on these, and it's just fun. When they first talked about it, I was like, I am not the one. I had a couple of these books, didn't even know it was a whole yearly thing when I bought them. When I see a blackbird design, like so many others, I just buy it, don't even think about it. And so I went ahead, decided to do it, thought I was crazy. Jury's still out on that. But I have been working on Snow Garden, which is the January or the first of the Anniversaries of the Heart. If you don't know, there are 12 in this series, plus some bonus charts that make it 14, but one of them is a double. I am not going to do the bonus charts. Y'all will be lucky that I'm doing the 12. And part of that is because math. You probably need a fat half to do all 15. This is not. I thought it was, but it's not, but whatever. We won't get into that. And I wish I could tell you what color this is, but I don't have the card with me. I will tell you that talking to Kari before I started, and a couple other people, because there's 12 months, okay? There's 12 booklets. Some of the colors are going to fade. They're going to wash out. You're never going to find a piece of fabric that's going to work for all 12 booklets. So pick a fabric you love and move along. But speaking to Kari, I knew that maybe a little bit of a darker fabric would help with some of these cream colors that seem to go through a lot of the blackbirds. So that's my recommendation if you haven't started it, if you're thinking about doing it, and especially if you're thinking about doing all 12, because I need to slow down, take a breath. In the books, all 12 are done on 12 different fabrics. So I did a darker fabric. Again, I will look it up and put it on the notes at the bottom, what it is. But this is what I have done. And I know. So I just have to do, and I'm going to step over here to the side. I have to finish this border here and here. Do the 2 little flowers and the house. I am using all the call for colors except the peacock. I did change the color of the peacock because if, and again, Tiger Lily has addressed this as well, if you pull the colors for this, now they look nothing like this chart that was charted in 2010. Nothing, nada. As you can see, this house looks like blues and grays. This house is browns. And I promise you, these are the colors. So I couldn't have a brown peacock. No, ma'am. And the peacock is charted in all one color. He looks bluish gray to me. So I went over to my gas, because a lot of this is called for Gentle Arts, and picked a complimentary blue and chose that. I will tell you that the little feathers on the peacock are eyelets. You don't have to do eyelets if you don't like them. You can do the center as a cross stitch. It's really subtle. I like eyelets. So on the first one, that is the only specialty stitch in this first booklet, are the eyelets. Also, with each pattern, they have little squares that they've left where you can customize, and an alphabet. And I can't show you that without showing you the chart, but if you see on the pattern, there's some initials here, there's a date here, there's some letters. And there may be a theme to this floss tube. The title should be, When in Doubt, Call Kari Tiger Lily, because that's what I do every day. Isn't she lucky? And I asked her if she was going to personalize these, because, I mean, I can do birthdays, but y'all, God knew what he was doing. I don't have 10 kids plus my husband and I to do 12 months of birthdays. But my daughter's birthday, ta-da, is in January, just like Tiger Lily's. So I am going to put my daughter's initials on the side and 2004 for January for her. And I'm probably going to pick a complimentary green because, again, that's her favorite color. Now, July is my husband and my son. Little side note here, because you know I like to overshare with you guys. I tried so hard to birth that child on July 10th so that I could have a permanent, forever, you can't top this birthday present for my husband, because his birthday is July 10th. My son is slow as molasses to this day. He came on the 15th and spoiled my plans. So I'll figure out which one of them I want to honor in July. Pets are on the sun. Our anniversary is in August, so I will personalize August. And my birthday is in September. And you better believe I'm going to put the date, just like I have back there. Because my family acts like they don't ever remember my birthday. And I don't know how, because I remind them a lot. So I know that I have 4 months of the year. And I don't think you really have to personalize all 12 months. You don't have to personalize any of them. You don't even have to do the darn thing. But that for sure, I will personalize something for those 4 months. And then my Whip Wednesday. Y'all know, if you've been here for a minute, if you know, you know. The bane of my existence. The proof that I cannot count to save my life. Feast of Friendship. No, it's not done yet, people. All the fruit in the urn is now done. It's done. Haven't filled in the urn. There's some leaves that I have to do, but the fruit is done. This half, well, I guess I should say there, is complete. The border's complete, and I'm starting to work the little pieces of the border going across. And I fill in the house. I'm not done yet. What I've been doing is like doing a fruit, coming over here and doing some of the house. Doing a fruit, coming over here and doing some of the house. And now that I've finished that, I'll do some house, do some urn, do some border. Because it honestly keeps me from setting this thing on fire. I say that I have grown into a linen stitcher. And a few floss tubes ago, I talked about a sampler that I had done where I swore that the lady drank the whole time she stitched it because it was so cattywampus. One day, somebody's going to find this at Goodwill, and they're going to say, bless that old lady's heart. She was blind and drunk when she stitched that. That's what they're going to say when they see that. In fact, I should pick out Feast of Friendship and write blind and drunk as my title for this one. It is what it is. It's either burn it or finish it. And the last one, this was my Christmas start. It is Winter Moon by Plum Street Samplers. So many people are so much further ahead than me. And truthfully, I haven't picked this up in a hot minute. I am stitching a page at a time. I think there's 4 pages. When I finished Feast of Friendship, and if I haven't been committed to the loony bin, then this will become my whip. So I finished fiddling in the tree, and then I jumped over and did some of the roof. If you look at this, you're going to say, oh, but that tree's so much bigger. I'm not done. The bottom of this tree is page 4. This is page 1. And there's a lot left to do in page 1. Like a honking huge rabbit on top of the roof. Because I know that's where all rabbits in my world live. Along with the squirrels in my head. So, y'all, once again, I don't doubt why my husband complains about stuff not being done around the house when I look at my stitching, but you only live once. Might as well do the things that you like. And Kari, I don't like these. Sorry, Lori Holt. Maybe I need the smaller size. I'll never be a game show hostess. That's all right. Really wasn't thinking about it anyway. All right. So that's what I've been working on this week. We're going to do my little Mr. Rogers moment and take a break. I'm going to drink some water. And we're going to sit and chit-chat in my chair. Woo! All right. Before we sit to chit-chat, I wanted to show you this. And it's got kind of a lot of moving parts. So, first of all, I want to thank everybody for the sweet, sweet comments y'all always leave on my floss tube. Yeah, it's like, I say it all the time, but it really is like chicken soup for the soul. And I love reading them, and they bring me so much joy. But one of our subscribers left a comment on the last one that I am singly keeping this industry afloat with my shopping. So you're welcome. I am not the only one, by the way. But I have many cross-stitch collecting obsessions. And one of them is Kohana scissors. There, I said it. Nickel Apartment, Hands Across the Sea, she has a bigger one of these, of course. But she has a craftsman in the Cotswolds that made the scissor holders. And I don't know if they're still available. This thing is heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. And it has a little like almost mouse paperweight with a magnet in the middle. And when Nicholas showed it, she had her collection of Kohana scissors. And at that point, I had 3. I had this lacquered one. I had this red one that my friend Pam Brown got me for my birthday 2 years ago. And I had the blush pink one. Last year, they came out with a couple colors. I was late to the game, but I was able to get the mustardy yellow. And then at Christmas, this was the Christmas release. I would love, love, love to find, they have a light blue and a dark blue. I would love to find one of those in the wild. But they just released their New Year's color. And I usually just buy the scissor, but you could only get this color right now at least if you bought the kit. And Chris, the camping stitcher, mentioned this yesterday too. You order these from Japan. I ordered mine either Sunday night or Monday. DHL brought it yesterday. Nothing against the U.S. Postal Service, but they could learn a thing or two. So let's unbox it together. So this was came in a DHL box and you pulled it out in this bag. So, and full disclosure, don't even know what's in the kit, didn't care, wanted the scissors. This must be a little needle minder. Anybody speak Japanese? I don't know what that is. Then you got the hoop, some thread, some Aida. Let's see what we can make with it. Excuse the crinkling. Again. Oh, that is pretty. I love cherry blossoms. I think I will stitch that up and make it a little pillow for sure. So it has all of the threads and a beautiful, nice wooden hoop. And then, I don't know what's in here. They apparently don't want me to know because, Lord have mercy, they don't fool around with their wrapping. Probably should have looked when I ordered it, but again, wanted the scissors. Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word. It's a little sewing pouch. Leather. Look at that. To hold all my threads and stuff. Look at that. How cool. How cool. Opens up. That's pretty cool. But seriously, what we've all been waiting for. And if you've ever ordered Kohana scissors, they always come in these beautiful wooden boxes. Open up the box. Beautifully wrapped. And, oh, how cool. I knew it was a burnt orange. Look at the tassel. Now, a couple things. The tassels always used to be kind of a golden color. And with the winter one, it had a snowflake, which was new. It's kind of a raspberry color. I don't know if that's still available. They go pretty fast. And the sheaths are always a dark leather, same color. This one came with an orange sheath and an orange and gold tassel. Pretty cool. I keep all the sheaths. I never travel with these. But I always stitch with them. And they cut divinely. And they have a very, very sharp point. Not that there aren't... listen. My scissors have scissors. So, but now there she sits. I got one more slot. Come on, blue. And no, I will not buy... No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy another one if I get more colors. My husband will tell you that. But when you buy them from Japan, and I think maybe it's the yen. I don't know. It's like 2,500 yen or 25,000. I mean, you almost have a heart attack. But it comes out to about 69 US dollars. If you order straight from the Kohana website, it is much, much cheaper than if you buy it on the secondary market here, obviously. This kit, I will tell you, cost me about $139. I have set myself up a budget, monthly budget for spending this year for crafts. By January. Gotta wait for February now. But I love them. And I stitch with them. And they sit by my stitchy chair. So, just wanted to share that with you. Now we'll go sit. See, J McDee's on my wall. So, I did buy a few more things. Of course I did. My sweet dear friend Clara, who lives near me, came by after Christmas with a gift certificate to the Cross Stitch Cupboard, which came in handy because I needed some flosses for my Anniversaries of the Heart and for my GH 1857. Can't just by Floss. So I had also ordered Topiary Row by October House Fiber Arts. And it had come in and was waiting for me. It came in before Christmas, but I didn't have a chance to get up there. And I had ordered Arbor Lane. I love October House Fiber Arts. I have their pumpkin series. I have their strawberry series. I have their tomato series. They are one of my favorites. So I had to get that. And then when I was up there, they had the Heart in Hand Christmas etchings. And I own the other two etching books. 2 years ago at Market, she came out with her first one, and she made them into big pillows on 20 count fabric, and they were stunning. This is Floral Etchings 2 that came out last year at Market. And I have this one as well. And so when I saw the Christmas etchings, Mary, who also works at the Cross Stitch Cupboard and is just a prolific stitcher and finisher, had finished the tree in a 20 count. So bigger. And it, like this, but in a frame. It looked amazing. I am going to finish them into individual smalls for ornaments for my tree. You guys voted, and I've kept it up. I did take down everything but the handmade gifted ornaments. I am not going to switch it out for every season, because if y'all think I stitch like that, y'all hadn't watched me. But I do like it up. I do like the soothing lights of it. Another confession, because you guys know I try to keep it as real as I can. Everything Christmas is down in my house except our big tree. And this is the longest it's ever been up. I do leave my trees up until January 6th, which is Epiphany, and then I usually take them down the 6th and 7th, so that on my daughter's birthday on the 8th, it's just all about her. But, and y'all know I shared this before Christmas, that I was kind of in a, not a bah humbug, but just kind of a blah. This year, for the first time in a long time, I really felt the absence of my parents. And just of my family traditions and things that we used to do and things that my family would do when we lived in Spain. And so, sitting at night in the den with the tree on soothes my soul this year. Usually, by January 1st, I'm itching to get everything down. I want everything back in its place. While I love all of the decorations, I'm just done with it by the beginning of January. This tree sits in a corner, and I don't know. I am going to take it down this weekend, but it's kind of hurting my heart to take it down. I did learn something over the holidays that I will share with y'all. In the olden days, and not my olden days like my children like to tell me, and now they think it's hilarious to say, well, you know you were born in the 1900s. Well, you know I can take you out of my wheel. But so Christmas always started the 12 days on December 24th. That's when celebrations began. And the true 12 days of Christmas are December 24th, Christmas Eve, to January 6th, Epiphany. So from the night Jesus was born until the wise men that didn't have GPS and wouldn't have followed it anyway got to Bethlehem, January 6th. I learned an interesting fact, that in some of the true traditional Catholic homes, they would do Christmas or keep the bough and all of that, because trees are a new kind of 20th century thing. From December 24th until Maundy Tuesday, until Lent. Their Christmas season, it was from December 24th through Maundy Tuesday. So technically I have another month I could keep it up. But I'm not gonna. I don't think. So, I think I am going to stitch a lot of Christmas throughout the year this year. I am not a seasonal stitcher per se, but I think I'm gonna supplement my plan stitching with Christmas stitching. I forgot to show this at the beginning. I did get the book of days. I only use this to chart out my stitching. It sits by my stitchy chair. I write it in every night, kind of, sort of, kind of, until about June. And then in June, I fall off every planning wagon there is. So there's only been 2 days this month I didn't stitch. I did not stitch on the 1st because we went to the Keys to eat. And I did not stitch last night. And because I really don't have FOMO, but I do have FOMO. I love how Laura, the serial stitcher, always puts stickers and stuff. And I think Lenny from the Sable Stitchers does too. So I'm trying. So the butterflies for the day I didn't stitch. The ornament is for when I finish Jingle All the Way. And these were just because I had some little stickers and I put them on there. So, until January 17th, we are keeping up with it. Now, my dear sweet friend Annie gave me the bigger cross-stitching planner, which is fabulous. And that is what I have all of my retreats in, when I'm going to film my Zooms, with my boxes, and all of my daily life stuff. But I do like my little book of days. The other thing I ordered this off of Amazon. Katie, the novel stitcher, had actually gone to a museum or a garden or something with her parents when they were visiting. And in the gift shop, they had this Quaker Samplers book. And she bought it there. And I looked it up. And they had it on Amazon. I will tell you that it comes from like a third-party vendor from Amazon. So it may even come from this gift shop. So it was not your get it the next day. But I mean, really, do we need anything the next day? It's a beautiful book of Quaker samplers and bits and pieces and how to put them together. But it also has a ton of information and history on the Ackworth School and the Westtown School. And I love that. This is, I highly, highly recommend it. And I will put the link anyway, to Amazon where I got it. I was trying to see if I could show you some that don't have. If you were ever going to do a montage like the Country Stitchers do, this book would just be. So here is just a picture of some. So they show the pictures and then they have patterns in here too. And I think this book was like $22. Well worth it. Even just for the information of it. And that's it for my shopping. So for all of y'all that think I keep this industry afloat by myself. So I know a lot of us have talked about needles and stitching. And on my Facebook group this week, I had posted a question about, if you're an Aida or a linen stitcher. And a lot of us, if you started in the 80s, you were an Aida stitcher. Okay? That's just a fact. And your choices were white, ecru, and then baby blue. Okay? Is what it is. And so you would stitch, Aida you can stitch with a size 24 needle. I didn't even know anything about needle sizes until I came back into cross-stitching a few years ago and started working up into the higher counts. And I can tell you, and I remember having this conversation with Jess Como Stitches because it had brought me to tears. When I moved, I went from 14 to 16 count during COVID because that's what Joanne carried. And then I bought my first Prairie Schooler and my first Wee Santa. And the Wee Santa stitched on 32. The Prairie Schoolers are stitched on 18. At that point, the 24 needle is going to leave a bigger hole in your fabric. It just is. So I tried to move up to a 26. And at that time, those fabric counts, you're using 2 threads. When I tell you that I could not thread a size 26 needle, that's no lie. I could not. My husband was threading them for me, and I went and bought every needle threader that I could find, trying to thread this needle. And I remember crying to Jess because I was so frustrated. And then, kind of dumb luck, or because the phone, Big Brother's watching you, Kimberly Jolly with Fat Quarter Shop had an episode where she was talking about if you can't thread the needle from one side, turn the needle the other way. And I thought, well, she's crazy, but it's okay. Well, it worked. So I moved up to the 26 count needle. And I stayed there for a long, long time. And then I went to StitchCon 2 years ago, and Tammy Totten gifted us all the pony needles, one to try. And I think at that point, when I went back to stitching, I used the DMC's needles that, again, you got at Joann's. And then I moved up to the Gold Eye DMC. And then when the cross stitch cupboard opened back up after COVID, I can't remember what I had. And I just realized that one of them I didn't make it over here. But I quickly switched to Edmar, and they come in a tube, and that's what I'm looking for because I had grabbed some. And if you want to know, this little pin cushion is from Hobby Lobby, and here's all my needles. And this little pin is my thread picker when I have to frog. It probably gets more use than any other pin in here. And so the pony needles are cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. You can get them all black, or you can get them black with the white eye. And they come in a pack of 5. I get mine from Fat Quarter Shop. These are made in India. I think like a pack of 5 is $2.95. Sorry, it's not really focusing there. And I stitched on these for a year and a half. But I can tell you, and I stitched with 26, and then I went to 28, and there's a story with that. This last batch of them that I bought, I am a poke and pull stitcher. I am not the sewing method stitcher. So my needles don't tend to bend because they're not weaving in and out of the fabric. They're going up, they're going down. But I do bury my tails in the back of my stitching. And just that simple action, these bend now. I mean, they're super, super thin. But they're great to take on trips and retreats and stuff because, seriously, $2.95 for 5. And when they bend, I just throw it away. But I am getting disenchanted with them. So when I was at Stitches Unlimited in Philadelphia, we just got to talking, and I just asked them what needles they used. And they like the ball head needles, which I had some too. And I bought some. And they said when you're working on the higher count fabrics, that little ball head and it's teeny, teeny, tiny, and it seems really weird. But they said that it really helps you find the holes. But they did say that it took some getting used to. So I bought some. And I was like, well, I'm stitching on the plane and I'm stitching in the car, so that would help. They do, but they snag. And it's the weirdest thing. And they did tell me it would take some finessing. Well, I don't have finesse, apparently. The other thing is because I do bury my tail in the back of my stitches, that little ball snags on the back of every stitch. So if you are doing the pin stitch to end your stitches, you won't have a problem at all. And I do recommend them. And the highest count I stitch on is 36. Okay. So I would think if you are 40 count or above, those ball points would be beautiful. But again, if you bury your tail, I just can't find a way to do it. In the last, this past signature sampler box, I always put in needles and different needles for you guys to try. So the last box has Bowen, and it's 26, size 26, I think, because I try to make it universal. These are Bowen 28s. They are very thin, they are sturdy, and I like them a lot. I think the box before that, the signature sampler, the one that was Robin's, the Fanciful sampler, I did the Peacemakers. And I love these. And you can find these at your LNS's, a lot of the ONS's. I know Fat Quarter Shop carries them. So they're easily found. But, and this is just me, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. At Stitches Unlimited, they also had some John James, and I bought them. Because I just wanted to try different needles since I was not happy. And needles are, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like scissors and everything else. But I do feel like each of us has a preference. Just if you've been doing this craft long enough, it's just like with quilting. It's like with anything. You kind of get your favorites. We say we don't have favorite children. We all know we do. So, I bought the John James, size 28. I am so in love with these. They are light, but yet sturdy. They just glide through the fabric like butter, as we say. I love them. I love them. I love them. I'm not getting paid for them. I don't know who John James or anybody else is. These are made in Worcestershire, England, so I think that's how you say it. But I love them. And I can tell you right now that these are going to be my go-tos. I'm going to buy them in bulk. I am going to start selling some of my favorite things on my Shopify shop. Not just the boxes that, subscription boxes or signature samplers, but when I find things that I love, I'm going to start featuring them in my shop. So I am going to be ordering. I can tell you right now, because the price is on the back, 5 of these, $3. So not expensive. I mean, needles aren't, that I know of, too terribly expensive. But, so I just wanted to talk about that today and share that with you. And that's my 2 cents worth when it comes to needles. I did tell you I would circle back around to why 28 versus 26. And I had heard this for a long time. The size 28 needles tend to be a little shorter, which means that you can use your thread a little bit longer. I'm not a chicken threader because I've played chicken and lost one too many times. And I feel that whether it be DMC or silk or overdyed cotton flosses, by the time you get to the end, that tail has been in and out of the fabric so much that it gets frayed and it gets thin. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm crazy and I only use half of, and I cut small. I cut my thread small because I cannot knot silk, which everybody says is impossible. I beg to differ. So I leave my strands short to avoid as few knots as I can. But the size 28 do seem to be a little bit shorter. So you are able to do maybe a couple more X's. If that's important to you, I have big old man hands. And again, bane of my existence. I played the piano for 11 years. I love the piano. I wouldn't have loved to have been a concert pianist because I hated recitals. But I did not have span. I always had to lift my hand for certain cords because my hands are short and stubby. Not surprising, I'm built like Shrek, is what it is. And I say that all to say I have big old fingers, but I still like the 28 needle. And maybe it's just practice, maybe it's just time, maybe the good Lord took pity on me, but I can thread them. Now, 28, I will tell you, just like Shelly, antique needleworker, even on 32, I almost always on 32 do one strand of floss. I know that the rules say that you should do two, but there are no rules, and it's my stitching, and I do like the prim look. Now, Feast of Friendship, I did do 2 strands. It is called for on a 30 count. I did it on a 32 count. Feast of Friendship, we all know it has its own issues. There's nothing like having to frog 2 strands. So, to keep me out of jail, I usually only stitch with 1 strand of thread because I frog a lot and it's easier to frog, and I don't cut. I literally take this little pen and pick out my stitches. And you do not want to live with me when I do it. You don't. So, I will be back in a second to show what I am gifting some people this week. A little bit of shop talk first. The signature sampler with the English Rose garden, or the English Rose that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video that I had finished, is still available. And they ship out immediately. There is still 36 count Mellowstone and 18 count Ada available. So when you order it, just make sure you select which kit you want. The Winter Love, which is the first of our subscription boxes, started going out this week. Sorry for the glare. So we are going around the world this year with the subscription boxes, and our first stop was Spain. Our next stop in April will be back in the U.S., and then this summer we will go across the pond to England, and we will end the year in Canada. So still time to get in on the subscriptions, and still time to get one of these boxes. They are kitted up and ready to ship out. And this is by Trelly, the Spanish Stitcher. As I mentioned, I am going to start listing some other pieces in my shop. Favorite things that I like to use. Our first signature sampler was by Little Robin Designs. If you watch Tiger Lily, she is stitching this now and showed it. Thank you, Kari. It's the Fanciful sampler. The full box is not available. The patterns are going to be listed today, and I have the trim that was specially dyed for this from Lady Dot Creates. We have decorative pins that were custom curated by Jersey Girl Stitch Company. What I don't have is fabric or the over-dyed flosses for this. Those kits are long gone, but I did have some extras of the patterns. This is an exclusive. So if you want this pattern right now before market, I'm the only place you can get it before market. I do believe Robin is releasing this at market this year. So those are some things. Fanciful Flamingo at Shopify.com. I will put it here on the bottom. Also, my first newsletter of the year went out this week. If you are not on my newsletter mailings, if you will send me an email saying that you'd like to get my newsletter, you can send it to shop@fancifulflamingo.com. My goal is to have a newsletter a month this year. So just kind of letting you know what's going on and what's going on in the shop. So again, my first newsletter, and it has links also in the newsletter to my shop. And let's just end this with some gifts. So while we haven't gotten snow down here in South Florida, it's gotten chilly, I'll tell you that. So what am I gifting this month? Because you know I love to share. I have the January calendar crate by Stitching with the Housewives. And if you would like to maybe receive this in the mail, you just want to put CC January in your comments. I have Snow Place Like Home by Primrose Cottage, and I actually have made this into a pillow. I wish I would have gotten it out. So just use the word Snow Place if you would like this by Primrose Cottage. I have the Month to Month, the Barn series from Stitching with the Housewives, the January. So M, number 2M, January, if you would like this as a gift. I made mine all into pillows that sit in my dough bowl. And then the Mad for Plaid, I want to say it might have all 4, but I could be wrong. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. This might just be winter. I don't remember. I stitched these because Chantel made these boards. Yes, it has all 4 actually. So in this design, you will get winter, spring, summer, and fall. It has all 4 of them in this booklet. And the boards you can get from Chantel 141 Design. So winter, if you would like to receive this as a gift. Again, in order to be considered, I ask that you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and then obviously leave the comment. And then I will announce the recipients of these gifts in my next floss tube. Other than that, stay warm, stay safe. Joy is a choice that we make each and every day. So let's all strive to choose joy and bring joy to others. I know that y'all bring me so much joy. So have a wonderful, safe weekend. Happy January 17th. Holy moly. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.